Brandy was groomed by Wanya Morris. Do we actually care about this? Are we going to see protests of Wanya? Is he going to get canceled? Are people going to stop going to Boys and Men concerts because Boys and Men admitted on the Breakfast Club that they knew about the relationship? Do we actually care? That's what we're going to look at in this video. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions on this whole thing. Now, I have not listened to Brandy's whole book, but I did go to the book on Spotify and listen to the chapter on Wanya. The chapter is called Broken Hearted. Basically, she was in a relationship as a teen with a boy. They promised they were gonna have sex when they got married. Boy ended up cheating on her. She got, no pun intended, broken hearted. Fast forward, out of the blue, Wanya reached out to Brandy through her mother, and her mother told her that, basically he was like a fan. She ran into him a couple of times. He began sort of be a mentor to her, quote unquote, and he tells her that he wants to hop on the Broken Hearted track, which you hear on the album. Fast forward, they began to build a relationship or a grooming relationship. She explained to him that she did not want to have sex before marriage, but if you know guys, you know how you can manipulate a woman into that, and eventually, well, not a woman, a young girl into that, and she eventually gave in and had sex with him. Fast forward, she caught him playing in the hair of a woman, confronted him, cheated on her, and she said, "No, I wasn't cheating with her," but he admitted he was having sex with other women. So we know from the Breakfast Club interview that she was between the ages of 16 and 17. Brandy said she was 16. And so it's right there. They were having sex when he was 22. She was 16. This is pretty clear and cut. That's called grooming. That's called statutory rape. And this is pretty clear. This happened in the state of California. In the state of California, below the age of 18, you cannot consent to having sex. And if an adult has sex with a minor, it is rape. No ifs, ands, or but. In California, that was rape. Now, do I think that people are going to view him as a rapist? No. And the reason why they will not view him as a rapist, which he is, but they will not, is because people view truth as subjective, not objective, right? Even though the law is pretty clear, people are going to have various reasons as to why this is not a big deal. But if you look at the age difference, 16, 16-year-olds are getting ready for the SATs. They're thinking about college. 22-year-olds, a lot of them are in college. They're about to graduate. Two different phases of life: an adult and a child. It's very simple, very easy. But society does not want to view it in that way. So, what do I think are the reasons behind this? Well, I'm going to get into that next. So, here's my theory on this. I think we break up teenagers and children in different categories. So, you look at a 12 and 13-year-old, for example. A 13-year-old is technically a teen, but I believe we still view them as preteens, right? You still have 13-year-olds who are in middle school, right? They're not in high school yet. So that 12, 13-year-old. So if you was a heard an adult was having sex with a 12, 13-year-old, most people would view that as wrong. But once you start getting into that middle teen area, then I think people's minds begin to change, and it becomes, not as bad. So, look at the R. Kelly, Aaliyah situation. Some say, yeah, that was a bad thing, but then you have some, it's like, well, she was 15. I've heard these excuses. I don't understand it. I mean, R. Kelly is clearly older than her, but hey, I've heard people make these excuses. So once you get to that 15-year-old, 16-year-old where Brandy is at, well, they can drive, so they're sort of like a middle adult. They can make adult decisions. So hey, she had sex with a 22-year-old. It's not really that big of a deal. And I think that's what we have going on in this situation is that children are viewed as adults. There have been a lot of excuses I've seen in this situation. One excuse I've seen a lot is this is the product of the time, was more acceptable back then. And my response to that is that's pretty silly. I mean, it was acceptable back when Emmett Till was killed to lie on black people, to do all kind of stuff with black people. Nobody would say, well, she shouldn't be held accountable for lying on him and having him killed. A lot of people wanted her prosecuted, even though she was young back then. So I'm not buying this product of the times excuse. A lot of another excuse I've been seeing is people just don't like Brandy. They don't like her attitude. They don't like her as a person. So they will ignore what happened to her because they don't like her. And I've seen that excuse. Another excuse, of course, is people love boys and men. They're the clean cut guys. They want the so-called hood guys like Jodeci. They were the nice Philly guys. So since they had this perception of Brandy's bad, but boys and men good, people are going to make excuses and it's going to be okay with them, and we just going to ignore that. Now, do I think, as I said earlier, are people going to cancel Boys to Men and start going to concerts? No. It's not going to happen. People already have made excuses for these things to happen, so it's pretty much sold up. But I think that the lack of empathy for somebody because you don't like them or because you want to have all these excuses is terrible. And I think the way she's being treated online has been horrible. But people love who they love and they hate who they hate and they're biased. And that's just the way it is. So, bottom line, we don't care, but we should care. We should want to protect children. Protect children at all costs. Whether they're 13 to 16 to 17. Protect children at all costs. Adults should not be manipulating children. I like California law, right? Now, am I saying there shouldn't be exceptions? Sure. I work at a high school. I know that you had, a senior might have fell in love with a sophomore. So I understand that maybe, that adult, with Romeo and Juliet laws, I get that. So I'm not saying it should be that stringent. But at the same time, if when you have somebody 6 years older than a child, that should not be accepted. Again, I'm not saying that, she's not trying to get him locked up or anything like that. She just told her story. Now, should he have been locked up? Sure, but it's too late for that now. But what is, he should speak on this and speak on the errors of his ways and what he did back then was wrong. And society should demand more of that. But will it? Probably not. This is Proceed with Caution Blog. Skip Bellis Suts, and I'm out.